Alright, I got my 2012 Nissan Altima here today. We're going to be tinting these windows, and we're going to be doing this. The window tint itself, less than $30 for this, and I'm going to be removing the door panels and actually taking the windows out. So if you need to know how these door panels come off or anything like that, or fixing the window, then this video may help you out as well. But definitely a cheap way to tint these. The window tint that's on there now we're going to have to remove. It doesn't look good. It's kind of like some cheap tint, and it's also messed up in places, so we're going to be getting some better tint on there. Now I will say I've got a piece for the back windshield. However, there's quite a bit more skill involved in that, and I don't have the skill to do that, so I will have to get that done by someone else later, or I can just leave it like it is for now, because it's not just horrible. Okay, just quickly give you a view of the window tint that it has on here now. And actually the rear is probably the worst of it. The other thing is you got those defroster panels or whatever that run through there, and you have to be careful with that. You can mess those up, so I don't really want to mess with that. This one over here is damaged. Like I said, I don't really know what tint this is. The quality just doesn't seem to be that good. Of course, we got these little back, windows here as well, so we'll have all the tint to do our side windows and our little back piece here as well. So we're just going to go ahead and get started now. Okay, I want to show you on this passenger door panel. The driver's door is missing a few things, so this one will be better to show you, and it's the same as the driver's side. Now you can see we don't need a lot of tools. I got this to hold the window. It's just a suction cup. These little plastic tools you can pretty much get anywhere. This is a little trim tool, and I got a 10mm on this little 1/4-inch ratchet. Now you can also use some little putty knives. You could use a flat screwdriver, a pick tool, just whatever you have. And I left out my Phillips screwdriver, but we'll get that. Now you see I've got this small one. We're going to come back behind this handle, this piece. And unless it wants to be really difficult, it should. Now sometimes a pick tool will actually work a little bit better for these, but initially, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my pick tool. Alright, I got my hooked pick tool. We're going to give this a try. I'll get from behind it, and that got it out easily. These just seem to work better. Okay, now we got this Phillips right here. We're going to go in here and get. Okay, now we got this armrest here that we've got to pop up and off of here. Just gonna work our way around it with this tool. Okay, so you can see how these are just clipping in with these. See the clip that goes up in the front here? You got these clips, and then you got these two that clip up here. Okay, so maybe that'll get you a better view, but that's all you got there, and then that removes this whole panel. Now you can use your Phillips, or you can use a 10mm here like I'm using to get these two sneaky screws. So you just got to be careful when taking stuff apart. You can do some damage if you go to just yanking, because if it's not coming easily, then something's still attached somewhere. Okay, now at this point we're just going to start working our way, kind of get back in behind here and start popping this up. So we got that. And if any little clips fall out, just keep up with them and put them back. Just want to work on this. Okay, so we got the door panel loose. Now we're going to have several things still connected when you go to lifting up on this thing. We're going to have the switch here is going to have a few wires, so there may be a few more on the driver's side, but it's basically the same. You're going to have this light here. You're going to have to pop this. So we'll go ahead and just get that. You can see we've got a connector right there. Let's push down on that and pull that right out of there. See how it'll only go one way. Where those clips are there. So we'll put that aside. So we got that, and that just feeds right back through this little hole right here. So we're going to have the switch, and then we're going to have cables going to this handle here. We'll go ahead and lift this up off of here. And on this side, we got 3 on the drivers, only got 1 on this side right here. And we got these right here, we got to disconnect. Okay, so here's our cables. We'll go ahead and just gonna pop this out like that. Just lift that up and out of there. Same thing here. Just pop that out. We got to get this cable down here, and you got to squeeze right in the middle, right here is where you got to push it down to disconnect it from that right there. Okay, next thing we're going to disconnect this motor. Just push right here. Give that a tug down. Now we're going to get these unclipped. Okay, so we'll start dealing with the wire. Pop it there. Pop it loose there. And we got another one right here. Okay, another one right here. And then we got one right here. Alright, rather than take this little tricky connector loose, we need to get it out of the way. I'm just going to take this whole thing off. One less connector to worry about breaking. So we've got a couple 10mm nuts. And that will just pop right off of there. So we got this whole wire. It's all loose from that panel. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to get all of these 10mm around this perimeter. And we're going to take those out. Now you see these in here. Do not touch those. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to pop off these covers right here before we go any farther. We're going to put these back maybe, if they'll stick back. We need to lower the window down. Let me get this other one off here. Okay, anyways, this one tore all up taking it off, but I don't care. We're going to go ahead and put our switch back on. I'll show you how we'll take just the switch off. Okay, so you got your panel here. We're going to flip this over. And from the back side, just give these a little push and push them down. If you try to remove it from the top side, you run the risk of breaking them. You can do it, but I don't like to do it that way. Popping it out from this side, you don't have any risk of breaking those tabs. All right, we're just going to hook this switch back up. Turn the key on and we'll roll this window down now. And we got to reconnect the motor, of course. Okay, now we're going to roll this window down. Like I said, do not touch these and attempt to roll this window up and down. I learned the hard way. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll it down until we can get those. Okay, right there we go. Let's go back up. All right, that's perfect. So we can get to both of those bolts, those 10 millimeters right there. We're going to take those completely out. And we're just going to push this window back up. And we'll use this to hold it up in place. Now there is a lot of 10 millimeters around this, but in terms of taking these out, you really don't get much easier than this. It's very simple, in my opinion. Okay, so there's the first one. And now we're going to go to the other side and get that other one. Okay, now when we get, and that's not good, I'll have to fish that out later. So let me grab another 10 millimeter. Actually, you know what? Okay. All right, so we found another one. So hopefully we can get this one out without dropping it. So there's that other one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just push this window up by hand and hold it up. Okay, just to show you, with those bolts out, we'll just push that up. Make sure our suction cup is on real good. Okay, so the window is secured and up and out of the way. You know, I think I'm going to try. I don't think I need to go ahead and take this whole window regulator out to get the window, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to see if I can't get the window out without removing this. Okay, so I was correct. This here will just pop off, this piece out of this trim, and then we're able to turn this window sideways even without having that panel out, and get this up and out here. We'll just carefully get it oriented. And you can see plenty of room to get that out. There's our window out of the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and, because I said I would, I'm going to go ahead and show you how this comes off here. In case you're needing to replace this window motor or whatever, we'll go ahead and take it off. Because like I said, only the screws on the perimeter we want to remove. And I suggest getting a little bucket or something to put these in, but I just want to show you, because I've got it this far, how easy it is to replace this window regulator. I believe that when you buy a new regulator, I don't think this part comes with it, but I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm going to continue on with these other 10 millimeters. Okay, now all the bolts
we've got around the perimeter. And I want you to watch how easy this is. You don't even have the sticky mess that you have. Now this has a seal. Give me just 1 second. It has a, basically this is sealed because it's like a type of foam. Give me just 1 second. Once you get this seal just kind of broken loose, it'll pop right off there. Okay, here we go. You see it's coming loose now. And it doesn't have any of that sticky, goopy mess. Now watch this. This is your panel. There's your motor that you know, if you need to replace it, you flip the panel around. You, of course, the way this one's made is like most, you have to replace the whole entire regulator. But there is where your motor bolts on with some 8mm or 5/16. And then here's your regulator. Let me get down here so you can get a better look at it. There's your whole assembly and regulator. You see it's got the cables and where the window sits on it and bolts in. So nothing to replacing it. If you got to get a new one, you take those 3 bolts from the back of your motor here. You got that loose, you flip it around. You take out 1, 2, 3, and 4. I said do not take those out unless you plan on replacing it. But that's all there is to it. It's really quite simple. You got all kinds of room in here. If you need to get in here to do anything, you can see how big of a space you have. So I didn't need to take that off, but I wanted to just show you how easy that it is to get in there and replace that window motor regulator. So I'm just going to put that back on. I've got my other glass out, so we're going to go ahead and take this now and get it, get some remover, some tint remover on it, and get it soaking, and then we'll go ahead and work on one of these back windows. Okay, with the window out, we're going to start with this adhesive remover. We'll go ahead and start spraying that on here. Okay, so this stuff you want to spray on. It's kind of pricey. It's like $8 a bottle. So this stuff, the application solution's pretty cheap. It's about the same. It seems to go a lot farther though. We're going to spray it down with a good liberal amount. I used this the last time I tinted some other windows. So then we're going to take, cover it up with a plastic bag. That's what they recommend. And we'll make sure it's all covered. We'll let it set for about 30 minutes and we'll come back and see if we can start peeling it off. Okay, while we're waiting on that adhesive remover to set in there, we're going to go ahead and take these back windows out. It's a little bit different than the front, but I'm going to go ahead. I want to show you how to remove the window motor regulator and everything on this one as well. Okay, a lot of the stuff is going to be similar. This piece right here, you're going to pop out with a pick tool. Here you're going to need a 10. Get that 10mm bolt out. Same thing on this handle right here. You're just going to work your little tool up and around it. Okay, and then we're going to go right here. We're going to get those two 10mm. So far, pretty much the same thing. Okay, now it's the same on this panel. We're gonna get under here and start popping this. And we're just gonna get over here. I'm gonna pop this loose on this side as well. Okay, so we got it all loose. Go ahead and lift this panel up. And then the same thing, we're gonna get in here, pop these little connectors loose for this handle, same way that we did the front. And we got one little connector right there, just push down on that. So those just pop out the same way as the front ones did. Now again, we're going to get our switch. Just going to push that switch out and reconnect it because we're going to need to hook that back up. Okay, it's a little different back here. We get to peel this sticky, goopy plastic loose. Go ahead and peel it all the way down until we get to about right there. That should be good for us. We're just going to leave that switch connected. Okay, we're going to start lowering this window. If you'll watch right here, we want that centered right in there. Perfect. So we can get to this one and get to this one. So we'll go ahead and remove those two. Okay, so the glass is loose. Now we're going to go ahead and push that glass up and put our suction cup on it like we did on the front. Okay, so we got that pushed up there. To remove the window motor regulator, first we're going to squeeze down right here. Get this clip. Got to squeeze that pretty hard. And sometimes it still doesn't want to release. Okay, finally got it. Let's go ahead and get, these are 10 millimeters holding the motor. Note the little hooks here. Got one here and here. This kind of helps set the motor. So at this point I wouldn't have to remove these, but I'm going to do this just to show you since I've got this thing apart. In case you're needing to replace the motor, this will be some helpful information. And now it's set there because it's sitting on those hooks. Go in those slots there, you actually have to push those back and up to get the motor out. Okay, so we got the motor. We got 3 more screws here. Okay, we got our top 2 for our regulator. This one here you don't need to remove. This one on the right, just loosen that one up and leave it. Notice you got the slotted hole. Okay, lastly we got the bolt right here for this regulator. Go ahead and get that one completely removed. So this is going to be all loosened up. Okay, so first thing, we'll reach in and kind of lift these up, push it back. That's going to get that motor loose. We're going to push that through the slot. Then we just come down here. Got all kinds of room. Just wring that out right through there. So there is your window motor regulator. Now back to getting the glass out. First thing we got to do is get this bolt right here. It holds this little center divider for the small piece of glass. Go ahead and completely remove this 10mm bolt right here. So there's that one. Next thing I'm going to do is take this suction cup and I'm going to lower this big glass back down. Just kind of push it all the way down. It'll only go so far. Okay, next thing I'm going to do right here at the top of this is peel this back. You can see that sneaky little Torx hiding right there. Okay, so that's a T20. Need to completely remove that. It will come out of there eventually. Okay, so there's that little screw. Okay, I want to pop this up. Just get it out of the way. We're going to start kind of peeling this. Essentially, pull that over, that seal. Then you're going to pop this piece. Let me get you another view. Okay, you can see we kind of got that peeled out of there. We kind of got to do the same thing here. We got to peel the seal for this glass. I just don't want to get, I could take the seal off the small glass, but I don't want to get it mixed up. So we're going to kind of get that loose. Pull this loose. Just kind of scoot that over a little bit. Put that back on. Okay, so essentially I just kind of wiggled that piece over. I'll just kind of pop this out. I'm going to leave this on here. I want to mark this just to make sure I don't get it mixed up and putting it back on. We're going to clean this up. We don't need to remove this. We can just kind of leave this here at this point. And we will work this glass up and out of here now. Just take and tilt it. Give it come from the other side. Okay, so I just kind of pop that down there. It's kind of flopping loose. We're going to twist this glass. Once we get it kind of oriented the right way, it'll come out easily here. Okay, I don't quite have it. Okay, so basically I just got it past that track, out of the track, and just lifting it straight up. Didn't even go at an angle. So there we have it out, and we got our little piece out. Okay, so just peeling this up, been set, and we're going to go ahead and start trying to see if this is ready to peel off yet. Alright, so I'm just going to start at this corner. It's been setting for a good bit. If you apply it properly, hopefully it won't. But we're still going to have to apply the adhesive remover and come back over this and get all of the excess glue, because there's going to be some excess glue. This is actually coming up quite nicely. But I can feel a lot of that glue still on there, so we're going to have to spray it back down and just take the blade and kind of painstakingly go over this really good till we don't feel any more glue. Okay, we got our new window tint here. We'll go ahead and take that out. It comes with instructions. This I'll leave a link. So this tint, I've never had any problems with it. And the biggest thing is you got to be careful. They're, you know, already pre-laser cut, but when you're peeling the excess off is the most dangerous. You have to peel away from the good piece. You also have to get any dust, debris off of there. You don't want that winding up on your window. So I've got a bunch of pieces in here. I'm going to go through here and find the one that's going to go to my driver's side front. Okay, so you got to locate the right side of this by figuring out which side you can hang your nail on. And I like to kind of cut a little line without cutting through it to get it started. And this is, like I said, the trickiest part is getting this. Already got the getting the actual window film to come up, but this part, okay, so we're going to take and peel away from, I'm peeling away from what we're going to be using, and if you do that you won't mess up. So I got to do this to get rid of all the excess, and then we can work on getting it sprayed down. You want to make sure to spray the back side of this as you're peeling it off really good, the side that's got the glue, because it'll really stick on you if you don't get enough soap. Okay, now I got to give this here a squeegee and kind of wipe it down again. Okay, so I'm just going to squeegee this off. Got it sprayed down, just kind of give it a final clean down. Okay, so I'll give this another spray down and we're going to get the film. Okay, so I'm going to make sure to spray this down good as I'm peeling it up and not let it fold in on itself. Just going to continue to do that as I'm peeling it up. Okay, so after soaking that, I just lay it down and position it, and I've kind of gave it about a 1/4 of an inch around here. I've got plenty of room for it to go up in that seal. That's kind of how I usually do them, a little less. And then this side, you know, you might want to get it closer than this side, because this side's not really going to be seen. It's got like a 5/8 gap down there. So we're going to go ahead at this point, just start. I just start in the middle, kind of hold it still, and just start squeegeing it out, and then I'll go set it outside. I don't think I'm going to get all these done today, but maybe I can get a couple of them done. I really like to kind of set them out into the sun. I want to pull it long way, starting in the middle, pull all those wrinkles pulled out. Never had any trouble with these doing it this way. And you have to kind of keep spraying your glass so it's not dry. And I'll do this a little bit, then I'll switch over to my cloth and just kind of give it a smooth down. But this is looking, you want to kind of hit it a little bit so you're not scraping it dry, messing your tin up. But like I said, you know, in my other video, if you want perfection, you're going to have to take it to a professional. But if you want to save some money, this is the way to do it. So this is how I'm going to do each of them, and it's real easy. So if I can do this, anybody can do it. So I'm going to switch over to my cloth now and just kind of finish smoothing it down. This is looking really good. Okay, so basically I like to set this out in the sun here and just kind of watch it and make sure no new bubbles or anything form, and just kind of let the sun glue it really good to the glass. Okay, so I'm working on this back window tint. I don't know if I showed you this solution, what I've got. So we're going to go ahead and peel this on back and just spray this, and this is at the back window.
Okay, so I got that set on there. I'm just going to work on squeegeing this out. You definitely want to make sure you get enough solution on the back of that film so you're able to move it around, or it's going to be a really big mess. But then once we get, we're just doing the back right now, and once we get this, and all I'm doing is evening from this side to this side. I've got it even. The top, I'm leaving a 3/16 of an inch or a quarter like I did on the other one. And I'm just going to do this till I get all the little crinkles out. And once I've got it pretty good, I'll take it outside and just sit it in the sun, and we'll finish up with the cloth. And you kind of want to keep a little of this on here when you're doing your squeegees so you don't leave any marks. So this is pretty good. This is all I've done, and I mean, that's good enough. I'm ready to take this outside and set it in the sun there. Okay, so we just got the little piece left, and this one's really easy. We're just going to peel it up, do it the same way. Okay, so I got my glass and my film, and this like goes, you can kind of see the outline there. We kind of position it. I think that's about where I had the other one. I'll start squeegeeing that out. Okay, I had that backwards. It actually goes, the thinner line is going to go down here because it's got the bigger seal up this way, so I had to push it back down that way. Okay, so I'm just going to set all these out in the sun for a bit, and then we'll start working on putting all these back in. Alright, we're getting ready to install the front passenger side here. You'll note that I've got these lowered down where we can see as we're slipping them on. Now, one thing to note, when you're putting this window in, you want to make absolutely sure that you got it in this track properly. If you don't, your window's not going to want to roll up and down. Same for this side. Make sure you got it in that track, and you verify after you get it in. If you get it in there and it's not rolling up and down right, then you definitely got a problem. Okay, we're going to carefully start sliding this in, making sure that we don't touch the tint, keeping it away and getting it in to its track there properly. Okay, we verified it's in the track. We're going to go ahead and start lowering it down. We've got a little plastic peg that's going to go right in there, and then this one for the threaded bolt there will line up. And if you don't get it on the first go, you just keep working with it. So you can see, okay, you can see what I'm talking about there. That's going to guide right into that, and then we're able to start our little 10mm. Now, you want to be very careful, because if you drop this, you're going to either have to find you another bolt or go to fishing it out there. So I'm going to loosely get that one started. Alright, so we come over to this side, and the same thing. We're just going to go in there and get our little 10mm back into place. Okay, we got our motor connector hooked up. We got our switch hooked up. We got the key on. We're going to go ahead and start testing this window out and make sure that it's rolling up and down smoothly. You don't want to do it a whole lot of times, because we just tinted this. We don't want to mess the tint up. But it is rolling up and down. Now my battery's a little bit low because I've had some of these lights on, but it's rolling up and down just fine.
First thing I'm going to want to do before putting this panel on is slide this through the area where the bulb goes down here. This we're just going to feed up through this. We got that piece off at the moment, and we do have to reattach our door cables there. Okay, we're going to put this wire, so we'll make sure we got that going back through there. I'm going to come up here, and these are pretty easy. We just got to pop that in there, and then we just got to get the top one, maybe. Okay. Okay, so we got to start putting the panel on the top. Now this piece up here has to push back pretty far to lock onto this. So we're going to have to push it up and push it back in and get it down. And one second, I forgot a piece. Okay, this piece here has got to go in. I left it out. I got to pop it down in here. Okay, so now what I was talking about, we got to push this in, make sure that snaps, and then we'll get that. If it's hooked right, it'll be nice and tight on this. Okay, you can see that once you get that top, the rest of this will just go right down in place. See, I got my wire coming up through here. We're going to put that switch assembly back in there first, but this just pretty much falls into place. So make sure this little wire, it's trying to move on me again. Make sure this little wire is fed out through here. And then make sure that everything is clipped in. Okay, just connect the switch. Now this hook goes under the front first. Okay, then here we got our screws. And they just go into a piece of plastic there, so you don't want to overdo these. I'm just going to strip it out. Okay, so you got that. This piece just going to pop right down on there. Just as easy as that. Okay, so then we got our screw, goes back in this handle here. One second. This little piece is slipperier than it looks. Alright, so we put that little nose under there and then pop it down. Okay, now we got to plug in our little light here. These get really hot, so don't be touching the bulb if it's been on. Okay, I'm getting ready to start this glass in. This is loose. I'm going to start setting this in, and once I kind of get it in place, I'm going to pop this channel down. Okay, so I'm starting this in. I've got to be very careful and not rub the tint, and I'm going to slide it into the left side over here first, and then I'll work this over here into place, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this channel here. Okay, I've kind of got that into the channel. I'm going to go ahead and just push this glass carefully down until it just stops, and then we're going to work this piece in here. Okay, we're just going to start working this in, and it's tight. snug fit, and I don't really know, there probably is an easier way, but I just kind of push that and start wiggling it till I get it all down into place here, just carefully. Okay, I changed up my strategy, actually coming from the outside. Now I do have a little bit of a gap here. I should have marked it, but I centered the tint up and it left a line, so I'm not really happy with that, but still better than it was before. So I'm just going to keep working this down in here. Okay, so about got it here. I'm just working in the top, and once you kind of get it popped in that, and then you can lift it back up. Just make sure that the seal, verify that seal is right. Okay, once I'm happy with that, I'm going to pull this back up and kind of get it over the top of that. Okay, so we got that pulled up there nice, pulled all the way up. Now we'll get over here, go ahead and stuff this back, and we'll get over here and get our little Torx screw. This actually goes into place pretty easy here. Okay, so now we're just going to work on putting this little Torx screw back in this upper part here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and tighten that up. Okay, then we got to kind of push this seal, just kind of start giving it a push from here until it kind of locks itself back in. That's the only way I can really explain it. Just make sure that it's locked back in again. Okay, so this piece of track here also, we've got this screw that we got to replace. And so you want to verify and make sure that you got your window in that track where you get all this bolted down here. Just got the window held up, pushed it all the way back up, put a suction cup on it. Okay, so ready to put our window motor regulator. I've not been able to do this yet without getting grease on my hands. Now note these little hooks here. Those are going to hook once we get up inside of this. Kind of bend that a little bit. And then that one bolt will slide in that one slot as well. Alright, so I'm reaching in here with all this nasty grease on this thing, and we're going to place this first one like there, and we'll go ahead and get the screw started here just loosely, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get this one. If you can see it right down here, let me see if I can get down here. We're going to put this one right here in place. Just kind of loosely get those started. Okay, now we're going to reach back in here and grab the motor, and you can see the hook, first hook that came through there, and then that one right there. That's just to kind of hold it. So go ahead and got it hooked. And I'm going to go ahead and push that connector on there, and we'll go ahead and get these bolts in place. And all we have to do is snug these up. Okay, we're just going to work on snugging all these up at this point. Okay, we got all of our bolts tightened up here and our lower one. Okay, note our window
regulator is still in the position here. All I'm going to do is take the suction cup off at this point, and we're going to start lowering it down. Okay, so here we go, and we're just going to guide it down into position. It may try to get hung. You may have to reach in there. Okay, so all I got to do, you may have to lift this up ever so slightly to get your screw to go into place. Okay, I'll snug that up in just a minute. So I'm just going to get this one on this other side, hopefully without dropping it. Alright, so I'm just going to finish snugging those up real quick. Okay, we'll go ahead and stick all this goopy stuff back in place, and then we'll verify. Remember, these little cables go through your plastic here. Let's try to put it back exactly where it came from. And that stuff is really super sticky, so with it being warm, it sticks back no problem. Okay, so we'll go ahead and test this out. It's rolling up nice and smooth. So we'll just leave it there. Okay, so we're fixing to go ahead and get the panel back on here. I've just got to get this little wire fed through and get the cables connected. Here's our cable hooks, the one round one and then that one. Get those in place. Okay, so we'll slip that one in there. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and slide it up in place. Okay, I've just kind of slipped the top down on, pushed it down, and then the rest of the snaps will just go right into place. Just go all around the perimeter and pop them down. We'll get our switch back on here. Just put the nose up first, pop it down. Okay, we'll get our screws back in the handle. And we'll just go ahead and snug these up. Okay, we're just going to pop this armrest back on. Okay, we got our screw back in the handle. We pop that back in this way first. Okay, and there we have that back together, nothing to it. Okay, so we got her all finished up. I'm going to give you the look around here. You can see how nice this looks. And then we'll take a look from the inside of the difference it made. So definitely makes it look a lot better. Let's take a look on the inside. So not too bad. It was like sometimes you'll get a little bit of bubbles in them. Usually I only have that trouble like if the tint's been sitting around a while, but they easily just work themselves out. But you can do this yourself and save yourself quite a bit of money. Now the back one, I can either leave that or get that done at a later time. I do have the piece to have that done, you know, but this looks a lot better in here. All right, so that's going to do it on putting this window tint and removing the panels and window regulators and everything. We said the window tint, less than $30 for the tint. The adhesive remover is about $8. Now, as far as the application solution, that's $8 as well. But I've used that like on a couple of cars now, and I've still got some left. So you could definitely, you know, save that for another project. But anyways, it looks really good. Not really hard. I've spent yesterday afternoon and a couple hours here today messing with it, and it's not really been that difficult. So anyways, if you liked the video, you know, give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so. As always, I invite you to subscribe, and I thank you for watching.